Prepare to be enlightened. What's up? It's Brian Soscia, another WWE exclusive with Damien Sandow on the phone to promote Survivor Series live on pay-per-view, of course, this Sunday, 8 o'clock. He's going to be in the traditional Survivor Series match, part of Team Ziggler versus Team Foley. Now, I just found out, actually, that last night your tag team partner, Cody Rhodes of the Rhodes Scholars, may be injured. Can you shed some light on that, Mr. Sandow?
I assure you that the necessary steps to protect the best interests of both Cody Rhodes and Team Ziggler are being taken.
Do you think he's going to make it to Survivor Series, though?
As I said, I'm not going to reveal anything at this time due to strategy purposes. And I will assure you, though, that either way, both the best interests of Team Ziggler and Cody are being fulfilled and taken into consideration and all of the sort. Now, what are your predictions for Survivor Series?
First of all, I think that during the traditional match that you're in, it doesn't matter win or lose. The fans will be the winners. That's how I feel. You will enlighten them. I think that people should just spend their money, their college funds and everything for their kids on the WWE product when you're on television. Because why send your kid to college if Damien Sandow's on?
Sir, I really appreciate your view on this. And, although I will encourage college education at any level, and, I am going to stress the importance of a college education. If you're going to spend all that money on a college education, the money it costs to go to a WWE show pales in comparison to that, and you're going to receive just as much enlightenment. So for that, sir, I commend you very, very much, and I thank you for you sharing your viewpoint. But I would also like to add that Team Ziggler will be victorious this Sunday.
I think so, too. I really think that. I have a couple listeners that have some questions for you. One being a guy named, calls himself Jason the Ace. He knows that he's also been enlightened by you, and he wants to know what your highest score that you've ever obtained in the game of Scrabble is.
I have never played a game of Scrabble. I don't... See... When I was a child, I was forbidden from playing games and all the things of that sort. I was always taught that, something as simple as, words, they're not a game. They are the vehicles in which we express ourselves. So I was more engaged in phonetic exercises and spelling exercises as a child than I was playing Scrabble.
Well, to get to know you better, I mean, nobody knew that. Forbidden from playing games. That's crazy as a child. And words aren't a game, as you're saying. So I wonder how you feel about the current generation, the texting, the tweeting. I know you're on Twitter and you have your own personal scribe, but how do you feel about that, Mr. Sandow?
Anything in moderation is not a bad thing. However, the levels to which people are tweeting and every 10 seconds, I am taking the trash out. I will be back in 3 minutes. I have taken the trash out. I am back sitting on my couch. The world has better things to do than to be updated on what you're doing, what you're having for dinner. Tune into WWE programming, listen to what I have to say, because my message is applicable to everyone in society. I am seeking to enlighten the unwashed masses, and with something of that importance, that is what you want to pay attention to, not keeping people updated on what you had for dinner or what flavor of ice cream you had.
I find, Mr. Sandow, when you're on Twitter, whenever your scribe tweets for you, some people may be upset, they may not like what he's tweeting, but I think it's something we can learn from, Mr. Sandow?
Thank you so much. And yes, it's when I do have Ignatius, who is my personal scribe, tweet, it's something that everyone can learn from. And I have actually been known to send a tweet or two myself on there once or twice a year, so just stay tuned.
Okay, and speaking of Twitter, a lot of people come in with questions. They want to know more about Mr. Damien Sandow, and I feel like a lot of people like to compare you to Rick the Model Martel, a superstar of the past. I don't see that other than your tights, the same color. I see more of the genius in you, that kind of thing. How do you feel about when people compare you to past superstars?
Well, again, what's in the past is in the past, and I think, you had Rick the Model Martel, who would like to use the WWE to get across that he was a model, and you had the genius, Lanny Poffo, who liked to use the WWE to recite poetry, and his own poetry, which the man was very talented. However, I am using the platform of the WWE to enlighten the unwashed masses. I am not doing this for self-gratification. I am doing this to save the very society in which I live in, which, that being the case, the stakes are higher with me than they are with any superstar past or present.
And, when you talk about past superstars, some of them have tried, as you're doing, to enlighten the unwashed masses, as you like to say, from the Bob Backlunds to the Dean Douglases to the Bobby the Brain Heenan. They've all done a decent job. Heenan did a great job with it. But now you're here on our television to do that. And you give us all this advice and words to live by every week. And I know I hang on and wait for those. But how about you? What's the best advice Damien Sandow has ever received?
Each day is an opportunity to succeed. And regardless of past happenings, you must trudge forward. For in the game of life, no pun intended, because I wasn't allowed to play games as a child, which we know that now, there is no rewind. We must only move forward with ourselves and our quests. And that is what I do and what I display every week on WWE programming.
Of course. Is there ever a time when you're on WWE programming, and I want you to be honest about this, and you walk out or you're at a WWE live event and you just almost can't wrestle because of a smell, maybe of body odor of the unwashed masses, the fans? I mean, is there any time where you have to just hold your nose and almost refuse to go out there and do your job?
There have been instances where I have been out of the ring, and I will not name any places in particular, but people could have used a little bit of deodorant, and that was just, to me, that's appalling. I don't understand, and then I use it, too, as an example of if someone is not going to take care of, their bodies the right way, how can they take care of their minds the right way?
And that's what's most important, right? Taking care of your mind, Mr. Sandow. And you seem to preach that on a daily basis. And I wonder, though, as you're enlightening us on this interview, where are you calling from right now? I mean, where are you at? Are you in your study, perhaps? Where are you at?
I am in the Sandow family study, it being this hour of the day. It's where I like to retreat and collect my thoughts and everything. And, we have the chair, which has been in my family for generations and everything. And it's just it's a nice place. The fire is lit, and I am just relaxing in my den of Zen, as I call it.
Den of Zen, I like that. As you're sitting there in your chair, fire lit, are you relaxing in that insanely expensive, probably just made for you from places we could never afford? And I understand that. The bathrobe, are you sitting in that right now?
No, that, as people think it is a bathrobe, it is not a bathrobe. It is a bathrobe is made out of terry cloth.
Okay.
My combat robe, as it is called, is made out of Egyptian cotton, which is designed to keep my body at the ideal temperature for physical activity, thus reducing the risk of injury.
All right. So are there any pre-match rituals before you put that robe on and go out there? Like before Survivor Series this weekend, what are you going to do before you head to the ring?
There's breathing exercises and meditation. Perhaps
read a book. I mean, you are in your study right now preparing, I'm sure, for Survivor Series. What is your favorite book in your study?
Well, there's so many great books. There's, obviously War and Peace is one of the best pieces of literature ever written. And, there's just too many to name. I believe, each book we can learn something from, whether it be good or bad. There's a moral lesson to be taught in every single piece of literature. And even if the piece of literature is bad, we know not to read anything by that author anymore.
Very true. But what about, like, the dictionary? I mean, I would have guessed that you read that at least a couple hours per day, right?
Well, it's actually a funny story. See, the most famous dictionary is the Webster's Dictionary.
Yes.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize, and what, society will dictate in past lore, Webster was actually a distant uncle of mine named Webster Sandow. And there was a rift in the family, and him and my uncle Demetrius, there was a big fight, and there was a couple things happened, and splits in the family. There were some legal issues, and what should actually be called the Sandow Dictionary for Webster and Demetrius is now called the Webster Dictionary.
Oh, so do you get royalties from that? I mean, you don't even have to help the unwashed masses. Is there any way you can get any money from that?
None. He got his own lawyer who doesn't talk to the family anymore. It's a very, very soft spot with Grandma Sandow. She doesn't like to hear Webster's name at all. It's not good.
Well, I'm sorry to even bring that up. Please forgive me. I am a total miscreant. And the last question I have for you is, I just read this. You're a downloadable character in WWE 13. Now, I mean, you have to have a view on video games. Do you enjoy video games yourself, or?
Normally, I do not partake in video games. However, of course, with me being in this, I had to inspect it. And I can assure you this is by far the most realistic video game that I've ever seen. When I heard I was going to be in a video game, I studied video games. I studied the history of them, the lineage of them, the graphics, the music, the lights, the mannerisms. And this is as close as it's going to be to get me 24/7. And I suggest you get this.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Mr. Sandow. I mean, if they can't get you on television, if they don't have you on DVD, they can just pop in the video game. And you may not love video games, but it's a chance for them to be enlightened. And that's how you have to look at that sort of thing, I would guess.
Yes.
Mr. Sandow, listen, I really appreciate your time. I know time is of the essence with you, and I know that you come on and you've enlightened my audience today. I thank you for visiting with us. And I implore everybody to go on to Survivor Series pay-per-view this Sunday, 8 o'clock. Team Ziggler versus Team Foley. We'll see if Cody Rhodes gets there. We know Damien Sandow will be there. The card is jam-packed with other good matches, too. 8 o'clock, Sunday, Survivor Series. You can't miss this show, correct, Mr. Sandow?
Most correct.
Hey, man, thank you so much for taking your time. I feel just so great and so enlightened after this interview, Damien.
Oh, you're most welcome.